Hello, my name is Max Mpautler and I'm interviewing Holly Tomlin, the founder and CEO of Tomlin Staffing. Ms. Tomlin, what made you decide to open up your own business?
Well, 29 years ago, I moved to Tampa. My husband was with Progressive Insurance, and I was with Standard Oil. And being the trailing spouse, I looked for a job and found that the salaries in Tampa were a lot lower than Cleveland. So what I did is explored a few businesses that I might like to go into. Never really viewed myself as a risk taker or entrepreneur. But thought, what's the worst that could happen? I'd go out of business. A lot of people do. And I explored, what I might be good at. And in Cleveland, I was in HR. I worked in the employment office there and hired all the admin staff. So that's what led me to Tomlin Staffing, opening in 1984.
Oh wow, that's impressive. Now, when you started on this new venture and stuff, how do you actually obtain the startup capital, and what actually all went into the process of just starting your own business? I know it's quite a process, but could you kind of summarize that? How did you obtain the capital, and what steps did you really go through to starting Tomlin Staffing?
Wrote a business plan, went to the bank, borrowed $25,000. The unique part about my business is that I don't have items on a shelf, inventory. When I am borrowing money, that means I'm making money because I have payroll.
Okay.
So initially $25,000, and the more I went in debt, the better it was, because I was making money. There was billings attached to that debt that I could count on. So and I focused on good clients like Price Waterhouse, Moffitt Cancer Center, large companies that I knew they would pay their bills. So.
Oh, very nice. Now, what ways would you advertise, or do you advertise Tomlin Staffing? Do you use a lot of social medias, or how do you do that?
A lot of social media. Initially, it was advertisement in the Tribune, the Times.
Yes.
There aren't any newspapers, really to advertise it anymore. So we are using technology, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, job boards. Still a lot of referrals, word of mouth. When we place people, they refer family members.
Okay.
Clients refer folks to us as well. So we still count on word of mouth. We also have a sales person who is out and about town, and on the chamber board and at social events and cocktail parties, and we all do that. We all play a part in that.
Okay. How many people do you have on your payroll as of currently?
6.
6. Okay.
We've had as many as 20. The economy has played a role in that, us retrenching. Unfortunately, my product is our jobs and people. So the economy absolutely has had an effect on our business. But that said, my staff has been with me 19, 20 years, and I'm really proud of that.
So very well thought out staff. Now, how do you go about evaluating your staff members? Do you go formally, or is it more just kind of a casual,
A combination, I would say. We're such a small business. That said, we have 6 inside, but we place many people on jobs. We can have as many as 100, 150 out working, and they're considered our employees, by the way. I meant to say that. But if something needs to be addressed, I address it right away. I think that's only fair to the person, to the company, to me as a leader, and I think they appreciate that. And that way, when you get to the 6-month, 1-year appraisal term, then there aren't any surprises, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
They've had a chance to address things as they come up. I like that personally, and I try to treat people like I like to be treated.
Yeah. Now, how do you go about dealing with any internal or external theft going on in the company? How do you handle that? Do you have any stories about that you can share?
I do. I try to put guidelines in place to be respectful and protect our employees.
Yes.
Checks and balances, so that when someone writes a check, that there's a check and balance in place, so that they don't feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
As well. As far as outside theft, I have had money taken out of our corporate account. Identity theft has been a big problem in our society, but the situation that happened there, and it did happen a couple of times, is that someone wrote a check, forged my signature, and took the money out of our account.
Yeah.
As a result, I now have to purchase insurance to protect myself from that happening again.
Did you ever catch the theft?
No, in fact, the bank didn't really even want
Pursue it.
No.
Yeah.
The problem is so huge that the banks can't even handle it. Which blows my mind. Why? Because when it happened to me, I wanted to actually go to Orlando where the check was cashed and find out who cashed the check.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's just they just want to have you buy insurance to protect yourself. There's no need to find the bad guy, so to speak. It's that part's very upsetting to me.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, I'm all about revenge.
How many different positions do you have for your talent staffing?
Well, as far as placing temps, up to 150 at the moment. I think we have like 100 people out on different assignments throughout Tampa Bay.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, this is a good question. What is the worst experience you've experienced while operating your business?
You know, I've really been very lucky. But probably the worst thing was when we lost an account overnight. It was with Moffitt Cancer Center.
Okay.
We had worked with them for 10 years. They had a new materials management director come in. He decided he wanted to use another agency, just like that.
Wow.
$250,000 of billings gone in within a week.
Jeez, wow.
No warning, no signs, just a new person in charge. So I've learned that you really need to stay in touch with your clients. Be ready for when things like that happen, because they do. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. You know, be more spread out. You know, have clients in different industries. I knew that, and I really believed that they would be back because they were looking for a cheaper price with another company. They went with the other company, they were back. Within 6 months, they were back with us, And it was very painful.
I bet.
And I didn't lay anyone off, you know, but I learned a lot of lessons through that.
No, definitely. If you change one thing about the way you operate your business, how it would be like what you were saying, it's more like, would you more disperse out your business, or is there anything that you do differently to looking back now, like hindsight, like when you started it, or?
Definitely make sure you have business in a little bit of everything, different industries, so that one goes south, then the others can carry you. Because it's cyclical, you know, business, you know, one business, like the construction business in the 90s when they were having troubles, right before the Gulf War, a lot of them started to fail, and a lot of foreclosures. So I think that if you are in a little bit of everything, then you're not going to go down with the rest of them. Spread yourself out, even if it's onesies, twosies here and there, to keep your connections with these different industries and decision makers.
Okay. So basically, like, stick with your networking is really...
Networking is very important. Keeping your name out there, you know, staying connected. Network is important for many, many reasons.
All right, and then one of my last questions for you would be, what is the best advice you could give to a young entrepreneur trying to get into a business?
One of the things that I think every entrepreneur needs to consider is that be prepared, have at least a year salary under your belt. So a cushion, so that when you're running your business, when you're starting your business, getting geared up, that you don't have to worry about money. For me, I didn't take a paycheck for 3 years.
Wow.
And I kept investing money into my business so that I could grow it and be strong. And I think that's one of the reasons I've been able to stick around for 29 years and withstand some of the ups and downs.
Wow.
I've always had a cushion and a coffer to count on through the bad times. And there are going to be bad times. It's just the business life and cycles. So, so for lean times, I think, have a definitely a cushion, and don't commit to too much office space. One of the biggest reasons companies go out of business is because they commit to too much. Try to today use as much technology as you can to have less brick and mortar. And the best thing I did was to start hiring people to replace what I was doing initially.
Okay.
That's when I really started to grow. I was scared to death to do that.
Yeah, it's a big risk to take.
It is, because your people are counting on you then. You've got a paycheck to cover.
Exactly.
And so I think that once you get over that fear and you start hiring people to grow, then things start to happen. But that's probably the scariest commitment to another paycheck. Network. It's really important to stay networked, be engaged with the chamber. I did not get involved with the chamber the first 10 years of my business.
Okay.
That was a mistake.
Well, what exactly is the chamber?
The Tampa Chamber of Commerce, or any chamber local, like St. Pete Chamber. My business picked up when I started to engage with the chamber. And there's certain key groups that end up being your network. So that you can pick up the phone, call someone, say, I have this issue, this problem, help me connect to someone, can you endorse me, can you serve as a recommendation? That means a lot. So I would say that I would have gotten engaged more quickly with the chamber in hindsight.
All right. Well, thank you. This is Holly Tomlin of Tomlin Staffing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm very honored that you asked me for this interview, Max.